It appears President Trump is big mad at the Supreme Court after another ruling has derailed his anti-immigrant, anti-LGBT agenda. So now, according to The Hill, the president criticized the Supreme Court shortly after the justices, in a 5-4 decision, blocked the Trump administration's effort to revoke DACA. So that's, of course, the Obama-era Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, which ensures that 700,000 undocumented immigrants are able to stay in this country and are shielded from deportation. So now, remember, that was one of Donald Trump's big priorities, is getting rid of DACA. And not really Donald Trump's, but more Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller, and back when they originally tried to suspend DACA, it was led by Jeff Sessions at the Justice Department. So they wanted to get rid of this program so that they could deport all of those people. So now, the problem with that, of course, is that first, these DACA recipients, they were already guaranteed to be able to stay in this country by President Obama. One of the reasons that Donald Trump didn't like it is because, again, it's undocumented immigrants, and he hates those, but also mainly because Obama did it. So he's like, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. I want it gone. I want it gone. Okay. The other problem is these are people that were brought to the United States through no fault of their own by their parents. And it was a good decision to bring them over because they were generally trying to have a better life. They were trying to live the American dream, essentially. And now this administration says, well, we're going to try to send you back to a place that you don't know, and in some cases where you don't even speak the language. Again, these people were brought here as children, sometimes infants. They built lives, they built homes, they set their roots in America, but they weren't born here, and so they weren't able to actually get automatic citizenship from doing that. But some have been here just about their entire lives and have built up those lives with the identity of being an American. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them didn't even realize that that they're actually not a citizen. And so, nonetheless, Trump and the Republicans, they said, no protection. We're going to send you back. We don't care. We don't care. So now this decision, thankfully, says, actually, you can't do that. Now, let me get into the technical aspect of it. Because, of course, there's a caveat in this decision that means that Trump could come back after it again. Now, Justice John Roberts, Chief Justice, right? He says, quote, "We do not decide whether DACA or its rescission are sound policies." Roberts wrote in the majority opinion, "The wisdom of those decisions is none of our concern. We address only whether the agency complied with the procedural requirement that it provide a reasoned explanation for its action." So understand, the court says, well, we can't really make a decision whether or not it's good policy. All we're doing is that we're saying that since you didn't give us a good reason to rescind this policy, we're not going to let you rescind this policy. Hating immigrants really isn't a good enough reason, right, for us. That said, the Trump administration, if they do find a reason, they could try to challenge this again. And then, of course, it would probably make its way up to the Supreme Court again. And so the good news is, though, I don't necessarily think that they will, because what reason could they come up with that would be good enough to expel 700,000 people who are here because they were brought as children? They've otherwise followed the laws and contributed to communities as well as into the government through taxes. And so I don't know. I don't think they're going to go after it, though. I don't think they're going to be able to. And the other part that brings me brings me to that conclusion is the reaction from Donald Trump, who said this: "These horrible and politically charged decisions coming out of the Supreme Court are shotgun blasts to the face of people that are proud to call themselves Republicans or conservatives." That statement right there, the shotgun blast to the face, that alone made it so Dick Cheney would be trending on Twitter, because he is the one who literally had some shotgun blasts to the face when he was hunting. And it wasn't him that received them. It was him giving them out. I still can't. It's still amazing to think that, like, when you look back and realize the vice president had shot someone in the face with a shotgun accidentally, that story is now no longer insane in our lexicon, right? Back then, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe Cheney shot someone in the face. Whoa. And the guy who was shot apologized. He was the one to say, oh, I'm sorry you shot me in the face. That's no longer crazy because we have Donald Trump. And so he's literally talking about shotgun blasts to the face. Wow. He also said, we need more justices or we will lose our Second Amendment and everything else. Vote Trump 2020. Excuse me. Does Donald Trump know any other amendments than the second? Does he really talk about them at all? Does he know they exist? I mean, look, it's a question. I think it's a fair question at this point. There is so much that he has proven that he doesn't know about our government, about our system of government. And so I think it's a fair question. All right. So look, he's talking about like, oh, you know, make it so that I win so I can replace even more justices so I can have a super stacked Supreme Court so that, you know, I can get the wins, right? And understand that's what the Republicans want to do. So they want to make sure to win the 2020 election and replace, you know, probably Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So that would make a 6-3 court, which would be conservative for generations, right? So if you want to make the argument that, hey, man, look, I don't like Biden, but we got to do something about that Supreme Court. I get it. I think that, look, even though the justice that Biden will probably pick will be pretty centrist, maybe even center right, they won't be Brett Kavanaugh. And so Brett Kavanaugh, of course, has been on Trump's side in every single one of these decisions. Whereas, surprisingly, Neil Gorsuch actually voted in favor of allowing people that are LGBTQ and you know, trans people to not be fired and discriminated from their job. And so that's an important decision. And that was Gorsuch. And that's another reason Donald Trump was absolutely fuming about this. And so now he's like, I can't believe these justices that I got on the Supreme Court were so disloyal to me. No, they're supposed to back me and back me only. He doesn't understand that the Supreme Court literally is just supposed to interpret laws and not be activist judges. Although, as I've mentioned, a lot of these conservatives are like, no, we want our activist judges. Which is hilarious because for years and years, they screamed about liberal activist judges. And so, yeah. Now, one more thing. This is the last part. Donald Trump puts out another tweet where he makes this entire thing, again, about himself. Quote, do you get the impression that the Supreme Court doesn't like me? It's not about you. It's not about, not everything's about you. Clear narcissist behavior, right? What a narcissistic piece of trash. This guy has some serious mental issues because he can't help himself. He's got to make everything about him. This is not about him. This is about the law. It's about immigration. It's about DACA recipients and their rights. And I'm glad that this decision was made because as of right now, those DACA recipients are now safe, and that Trump's and Stephen Miller's racist agenda has right now so far been stopped. And so at least I'm glad to be able to report on that. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality. which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.